Hi, welcome to Star Tracy Talks Films. And I am so excited to talk to my very longtime friend, Gabriel Carter, and his beautiful wife, Nee Jo, who is also a tremendous actor in her own right. And we are going to be talking about Dormouse. But before, I want to take a moment to have them introduce themselves to you guys. They are both working a lot in the Canadian film industry, so you may not be as familiar with them as you should be, because a lot is going on north of our border that is starting to sneak through to us. And especially if you're like me and like the independent film industry, there's a lot to be found there. So you guys take it away.
I'm Gabriel Carter. I play Crawdaddy in the film.
Hey, I'm Nido, and I play Doe Eyes.
And this film is plays with a very dark subject, which is an underground sex club, but more to the point, it is sex trade. It is it is sex slavery. Basically, this is not sex workers. This is not by choice. This is
No,
very
nothing
much
consensual there. No.
right. Women are being taken off the street. In this case, it involves some women who are consensual sex workers in another environment. They dance in a very fun burlesque club, actually.
Looks like a lot of fun, right?
And but our chief subject matter is the namesake Dormouse, played by Haley Law, who is incredibly fun, who is mostly wanting to be a comic book uh,
Artist, yeah.
artist. Thank you. We're just lost in it.
We got it. You know what?
That just happens to me sometimes. I have to draw it myself. And she has a very interesting art style herself, which is, I believe her first comic is called Horrific. But then when she starts discovering about these girls who go missing, which Uni play the first one that she discovers, named Doe Eyes, she starts a different comic series called Mousetrap and starts writing about a actual true crime series that she's really writing her own story as it's happening.
Mhm.
And so Doe Eyes goes missing, and we learn about this very ugly world just riding below the surface. And Gabriel, you play Crawdaddy, um, who is very much a part of that world. And I wanted to know what attracted you to this project. And how you became a part of it and how you felt entering into a very dark world, because as an actor I have to believe that this was not an for either of you playing both sides of this easy roles to take on.
You want me to start?
You go.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to brag about my husband here a bit. So he was the first person attached to the script. So our director Avin Jogia, when he was writing it, he kind of took it to Gabriel, saying, "I've got a part for you. It's perfect."
Yeah, yeah, about 7 years ago.
Yeah. And then this kind soul decided to pitch me, and I'm not sure how far Abin was into writing the story at the time, but he did write my role with me in mind at that point and named it after me.
I
So my
read
last
it.
name is Doe and Doe Eyes. Yeah. I know some people got it, some people didn't, and I think I'm glad that it's not that obvious, that it kind of worked with my character as well. Um, and as for the subject matter, I think Avin was always really clear with us that he it like you said, it is a commentary about the situation, but it's not just about that, and that's why he put it into a kind of like a reinvigorated noir style mashed up with like the comic book aesthetic, right? He was saying it was more like a fairy tale, like heightened reality.
Yeah, one of the things that he's been saying is if you're watching a movie about heroin, you can watch Requiem for a Dream, or you can watch Train Spotting. This is the Train Spotting.
Yeah, there's two types of
of
drug films, right? And
yes,
so
yes.
so he didn't want it to be so heavy. He wanted you to leave the theaters empowered,
I
seeing the
I
movie
get
and
that.
yeah, and
Train
feeling
spotting, that's really a good way to put it. I get that.
yeah.
And a lot of the dark material was based on there was a serial killer here in outside of Vancouver named Robert Picton, and women were going missing off the streets
And it was yeah, it was sex workers and
during a period of time where Adam was much younger, and so we were getting inundated with women are disappearing, women are disappearing, women are
and it just
disappearing,
seemed like
and the,
nobody was doing anything about it.
yeah, and the authorities were really kind of dragging their feet and saying, well,
Because these and it was very similar in the sense that these women didn't have any familial ties. It was only their other coworkers pretty much reporting that they were missing. And
yeah,
so it's disenfranchised women, right? Who
And I don't want to speak too much to the plot because it's so fun. And that's one thing that's very interesting is to speak of this in a fun way, but it has a very neo-noir um, feel to it. And so it is fun, even though it is very dark. But one of the plot points is that this group is very careful and they only choose women that are very unattached.
yes.
And so you mentioned that you were attached a long time ago, Gabriel, that you've been, I guess, friends with Avon for a long time.
Avon, yes,
Avon, oh,
yeah,
sorry. My
it's okay.
children would be very upset with me too. Let me just tell you, for those of you who may not be familiar, Avon has a long history. My daughter's been watching him since Victorious. And then he's got a huge TikTok following, and she's been educating me. And Gabriel has a history with him too. So my apologies to Avon for mispronouncing
No
all of
worries,
your
no worries, no
names.
worries.
we're gonna
My
call him right.
daughter's
I
going to
know.
is going to cringe right now when she watches this. So maybe we'll edit this part out, Abby. But
Yeah, yeah. No, I've known him for a long time. Absolutely.
Well,
but
you also were in his like directorial debut, like in a short, right?
Yeah. So just kind of a fun little fun fact is his first directorial debut for a short film was a little movie called Alex, and it's kind of a take on the Alice in Wonderland mythos, and it's actually on YouTube right now. So if you want to see the sort of the germination, the origination of some of his vision,
well,
that's kind of fun.
excellent. I
Yeah.
will put a link to that in the comments. I'm
Oh, sure. Yeah.
pointing like
Like right here.
it'll be below because
Yeah.
like those youngins do. They point
Yeah.
That's right.
down below. But back to Dormouse, one of the things I did want to speak to because I do have a lot of parents that watch my channel, and they will often have people that they're older tweens and teens watching an Avon that will be one of their their heroes, so they might ask about this. That I, as a parent, really liked about it, and we spoke a little before we came on about this, is that I thought it made a great point of looking at this very dark subject, but not giving into it. Like when something would become where you thought you might be seeing some of these moments, it would use either the comics or there were some interesting things with masks and such that were very profound. Like I was greatly affected by it as an audience member. In no way did it take away from the drama. In fact, for me, it affected me more,
Mhm.
but did not make me feel like it was it was giving into those darker elements that sometimes I feel like films that comment on these same things do. And I was very impressed by Avon that way and the
Yeah.
artistry of the
It's
film.
it's not in any way, shape, or form a celebration of nihilism.
Yeah.
Exactly.
or evil. And yeah, one of the things that I've heard him say in numerous interviews, and when we do Q&A and stuff for the film run, is the only violence that we see inflicted is on the bad people.
Yeah, that's a good
Everything, yeah,
Yeah.
everything else is intimated, or we're animated to a certain extent, but
Yeah, and
yeah,
also too, it's like we've seen it time and time again, like you were mentioning, like to prove a point. It's gratuitous and it's not actually driving the point home anymore.
like
I yeah.
at the moment when Dormouse is forced to change, we
Mhm.
didn't have to see that. And
Yeah.
I don't want to share how that's revealed because like I said, that was the way that was revealed was very affected
well,
for
Mhm.
me. So I don't want to ruin that for someone watching it, but I loved how that was done because I didn't feel like it needed to be done to Haley Law as an actress or
Mhm.
just in general. And so I was just very impressed, and I just wanted to share that both as a woman and a mother. And so full props from me to the artistry of the whole crew. And it felt like a very conscious choice that I haven't seen made in a in the 90s, I'm sure Gabriel can speak to this because he and I are peers in that age group. Sorry, bud.
that's yeah,
Um, there was a lot of movies commenting on that kind of thing, the snuff films, there were a lot of films and such, but they were almost as much in it as about it. And this was a total another thing. And the way they used the artistry of the comics too, I really felt like that was something I wanted to point out and give a shout out to. And I wanted to know if, as a part of the film crew, if that was something that you guys felt and talked about as the artistic route you guys were taking.
I mean, absolutely, especially with my scene, it is pretty my character has gone through something pretty traumatic. And we talked about not wanting to use trauma as like a commodification in filmmaking.
Excellent.
Yeah, because it wasn't about the trauma that you know what I mean? Because then it becomes less about my journey and how do we move forward and then just like really sinking into that trauma. I mean, some of the best feedback we've had is a lot of people who've experienced trauma themselves coming forward and saying that they were able to watch it. They experienced it, they were able to watch it and not have to turn it off because it was too much.
Exactly. I get that. I totally do.
Yeah.
Well, I just 2 thumbs up, 5 stars, whatever, I'm neither Roger, I'm not, next to the school here. But this actress turned mommy, whatever, gives you guys the high five. Is there anything that that you feel like we haven't covered that if you wanted somebody to know about the film that you'd like to share?
uh, yeah. I think it's a unique film. It's absolutely a film filled with heart. We did this film at the height of the pandemic, and so we had 18
Mhm.
days to shoot. This is pre-vaccines, so it was all hands on decks, and we had to go from the set to our hotel room and back, and that was it. Um,
And also where we filmed, they had complete lockdown
yeah,
at that
Oh my
point.
God.
So the time that the team had to prep got really shortened because all the stores would have closed. So it really was all hands on deck. We hadn't flown out yet, so we were on the phone with the costumer, with hair and makeup, saying like, "Is there anything we can do to help?
anything we
Should
can
should
bring,
we
anything we
bring stuff before we fly out? What do you need?"
because sourcing that sort of
Materials,
yeah, thank you.
just material,
Yeah, it was very very difficult.
because normally we're, and especially with the world now, oh, we'll just pick it up at the store, we'll just
Yeah.
call Amazon, da, da, da. It's like,
Which is like a really long-winded way, I think, for both of us. What we're trying to say was an
okay,
absolute labor of love,
yes,
and I feel like that's in every frame of the movie.
and I hope
I
you can
genuinely
feel
do.
it.
Yeah.
I do. I really I do. It it seems like it was something that took a long time to birth to get to the filming, and then it obviously, if that was in the height of the pandemic, took you guys a long time to be able to get showing, but it was worth it. I hope that you guys get tons tons of views on it. I will do my best to spread the word on
Thank you. Thank you.
this side of the border. I think you deserve it. Nee, I know your part is smaller, but it's titular, truly. It's a very vulnerable thing to do. And I know what's involved in exposing yourself like that. So, and my big man over here, you've worked so hard, my friend, and you've earned every bit of that.
Thanks, lady.
And I know this sounds like I'm just shining sunshine on them, but they deserve it. And I hope you will take the time. If it's in a theater, go see it. I would have loved to have seen the screen burst open with the black and white ink look, but I didn't have that opportunity. But it is available on iTunes, and I highly recommend the click. I
iTunes,
will be
Amazon
sharing
Prime.
that on the below in the link. It's
Yeah.
totally worth it, and then you own it and you can watch it more than once. And I know that there are several movies that if I like it enough, I will see it, and this will be one of them. Thank you, Nido and Gabriel Carter, for
Ah,
Thank
taking the
you.
time this afternoon from your beautiful Vancouver home to
beautiful.
tell us about this fun movie. And thank you guys for visiting some time with me at Star Tracy Talks Film. And it's a wrap.
Yay!
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.